Alright guys, what's up? We're back, and today we're back with PC Part Picker, and we're going to be doing a gaming build. It's a pretty modest build. Total price coming in at about $1,200, give or take, somewhere around there. The last $1,200 build I did was more towards, like, if you're doing hardcore gaming and all that. This one's obviously still towards gamers. But we're stepping down to an i5, and we're not going to do liquid cooled or anything extremely hardcore this time. So what I went with was a Intel Core 6600K. Say that 6 times fast. Good luck. It has a 3.5 gigahertz base clock, and it does turbo to about 4.1, and it's overclockable. So if you want to throw a mad overclock on there and shoot for a 4.5, go for it. It is a quad core. Obviously, if you get a dual core for gaming, you're low-key kind of stupid. But that's alright. Heat-wise, a lot of the videos and reviews I've seen, usually max loads, you're looking at 75 to 90 degrees Celsius with stock cooler, but if you keep stock cooler, that's crazy. So on there, I went ahead and threw a CPU cooler for CryoRig. It's the H7. It is not one of their A40s or A50 liquid cooling lines, which is super awesome, but it is CryoRig H7. It has a pretty decent airflow at 49 CFM. It's kind of comparable to a Hyper 212 Evo, somewhere around those lines. Nice and quiet, something that moves a lot of air, keeps the CPU nice and cool. Has 8 coils on it, or 8 heating pipes. That's fine. Motherboard, I was torn between an MSI M3 motherboard or a Gigabyte GA, the Z170X, and I ended up going with the Gigabyte one just because I feel like every build in the world is blue and red or red and black, and this one does throw in a little hint of a yellow goldish to it, which is something I really did enjoy. It is the full ATX, so it's not a micro or anything along those lines. Memory, it's Team Vulcan. I didn't go with Corsair or anything regular along those lines just because it is a cheaper way to go for DDR4. Some DDR4 you can spend $90 all the way up to $200 if you go like Dominator Platinum and stuff along those lines from Corsair. It has a pretty decent look to it, even though there is no picture. I wish I could show you guys one. It is a GDR4. It's 2 sticks of 8. You could switch out and do 4 sticks of 4. Yeah, 4 sticks 4. Sorry, I forgot how to math. And that would be a total of the 16 gigs as well. Some people say that multiple channel DDR is better for gaming, but me personally, 16 gigs or 32 gigs of sticks of 8 is just fine. Hard drives, we went with a 3 terabyte Hitachi, Ultra Star, or whatever it is. Me personally, that was a decent one, but now that I really look at it, I'm probably going to switch it out and go with a probably 1 terabyte, 3 terabytes, a little overkill, especially knowing that you can do an external drive if anything really does fill up. SSD though, I did choose a 1. It's a 512 gig byte. It's by SanDisk, and the reason I chose that is just because if you are doing a lot of games and you want to put them on a proprietary drive, I can never pronounce that word right, but if you put them on there, it's going to have an increasingly fast boot up drive, which is awesome. It is SATA 6, obviously, all that fun stuff. It's the regular 2.5 form factor. The case I went with is an NZXT S3040. It is a black one. I know they do a red and black one, but once more I decided I want to step away from the red and black, and I want to do gold. So I figured somewhere along there you could throw in a few case fans that were yellow, or yellow and red, or whatever color you might end up choosing, yellow and blue. Who knows? But it does come black. It comes with a few fans stock on it, which is fine. And another reason I went with it, it's only $59. It's a relatively cheap case for some really good airflow. I've heard a lot of people suggest NZXT and or Corsair, the 7050D and 7050X from Corsair, if I'm not mistaken, because they have really good flow and there's plenty of things to do inside of them. And another thing, it has a full open panel on the side, so you're really going to see all those cases if he decides to do, or y'all decide to do an LED fan setup, or switch the fans on the, wow, I totally went blank, on the H7, so that's another awesome thing. Power supply, in total on power we're using 365 watts, so I figured to save a little bit of money you'd go something more modest, do a 550 watts, the gold certified. It's fully, or it's semi-modular, so obviously your basic cords that you're going to need no matter what are going to be packed in there, and other cords you might need are that. You could switch out a few things on here to save a little bit of money, and then go ahead and do a fully modular, so you don't have to worry about any cables that you don't need. It's a great option if you're looking for cable management. Other than that though, 550 watts is plenty unless you are starting to overclock and all these other things. Another thing that's not on here, it doesn't have a graphics card, which kind of sucks. Oh, never mind. Yes, it does. Why am I saying that? Has the Gigabyte GeForce GTX 1070. Sorry, it's been sitting on my computer for a few weeks, and I just don't even remember the build, to be totally honest, so I'm having to go back through it. The 1070 is relatively new card. It's the Pascal series chipset, which is something fantastic. The 1070, 1080, and the 1060 to come soon are really good chips from what I've heard, or graphics cards. 1070 usually rivals about with the 980 Ti, so for the money, you can't, there's no 980 Ti. Even 980 Ti's that have dropped because of the 1070 and 1080 release are still sitting at $450, $500 price range, depending on which one you get. So for $399, that's nothing too crazy or nothing too expensive that anybody couldn't afford if they want a decent graphics card. And if you want to save some money, you can go with an old 970 or the AMD RX 480s that just came out. People have really been raving about them. If you do Crossfire, you're looking at about $400 as well. And then it'll be up there with the 1080. I'm not sure how that really compares. I want to do a video on that soon, but we're just not there yet. So other than that, everything coming together, if you do the full bill and all that, you're looking at about $1,179, so basically $1,200, which is nothing too crazy. You could do your own shopping and shop around. You can change a few things if you want to save a few dollars here. If you went ahead and cut the graphics card down and went to a 970, you'd be looking at about $1,000. If you went down to a Hyper 212 Evo, you'd be looking at about $980. You don't have to do the same motherboard as well. You could change out for another motherboard and save a little bit there. SSD wise, 512 is a little bit overkill. I feel like you could go with 128 or 256 just for boot up and standard stuff along those lines. That's going to save you another $70. Hard drive, you don't need a 3 terabyte. You can go with a 1 terabyte if you're not saving too many games to your computer. And even that, so in the end, if you changed a lot of stuff on here, you'd be looking at probably give or take about $850 to $950. So that's saving $300, $400. So it's a really easy summer build for someone to do if they were saving up money along those lines. So overall, this is not a bad computer. And if you guys have any questions or comments on it, go ahead and leave a question or comment below down in the box. And if you guys like the video, leave a like. If you dislike, leave a dislike. And if you guys want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to have more videos coming out soon on PC Part Picker, so stay tuned, guys. Thanks.